So, today is the day. I've saved a special seat for you. You'll be sitting up here with a good view over both the joystick and throttle level, and hopefully a nice view forward as well. Let's do this. So, my flight plan for this very first manned flight with this quadcopter style multirotor is to fly a total of 8 minutes in 4 steps. So I intend to first take off, hover and just small adjustments with the pitch, yaw and roll, and then land, and then do the same again, 2 minutes, hover, small stick inputs, and then land, and then take off again and go down this gravel road here and turn around in the other end of it and come back and land, and then repeat that step as well. So 4 steps, 2 hovering and 2 forward motion steps. The vertical is so good. It's so really good. Oh wow. And I did not use up all of it. There was plenty left. Okay. So I think that's enough for the first little test. Let's just enjoy. Oh yeah. So how do you do this? Yeah, that was just amazing. Well, first off, not good idea to wearing a cap because it does not sit well enough on my head to safely stay there. It would be super annoying if I killed myself because a cap started a what do you call it? Avalanche effect in the propellers. It really had a super powerful vertical. I really just used up a bit of it, of the power, but it's it's like a roller coaster feeling, and I can imagine once you get skillful at flying that it will be like a roller coaster without a rail, because it's really powerful, forceful. You can feel it when you sit in it. It's a lot of extra power to play around with. The seat is quite comfortable. I'm just still trying to get used to this new joystick. It does not self-center, so it's a quite different feeling from having a small normal transmitter in your hand. But all in all, it was just lovely, really nice. And of course now for safety reason I'm just hovering a meter or two above the ground, but you can really sense the potential. You could do anything almost with this one. Of course not flips, la la la, but I mean it's a super interesting tool to get to know. A really joyful thing to do. Okay, so I'll just have a short break here and reflect over the events, and then I will do the flying over the gravel road here. It is gusty. You can see in the trees from time to time. It's really the air really is moving, but it's a super fine day nevertheless, and it's 20 degrees ambient temperature. The motors were not more than lukewarm. Yeah, it will be fun to do the second part in a little while. So, such a privilege to be able to do these kind of projects and just getting so much thoughts and feelings in your system to process, all in a good way. And I really been flying it pretty hard previous. I've not showed all my flying with it, and I have had a pretty hard impact with the ground, harder than when the chair broke. I flew it into rising terrain remotely. And it took some punishment, but it was the propulsion rings are just so safe in their position. They are flying first, so they lift their own weight of 10 kilos each before it starts to add force to the structure. So if you hit it in the ground, they will still be flying. So it's the chair that will take the abuse where you sit, of course. So I also put in a styrofoam sheet under the chair that gives me a couple of extra hundreds of seconds to dampen a really hard downward fall. If the the things that you have not even thought about would happen. I'm not really concerned about the flight controllers anymore, or speed controllers or anything, because they are separated. So and it can fly without one of them and without 16 motors, as I showed you previous. I'm more worried about me having made some error in the general design. But I checked the lines and the Kevlar lines now after the previous test, and they still look good. Some of them got slightly cut when I flew into the terrain a couple of months ago, but I changed the ones with the most significant damage. So it's mostly cosmetic on the other ones. And the structure really gets stiff once you're up in the air. When the structure is folded, it's quite flexible, but once the propulsion unit rises, you get forces in a way so they lock the structure in a fixed position, and you can really feel that it's rigid once you leave the ground. Well, I mean, of course, there's flex in the structure, but it's still very rigid compared to how it just is when it sits on the ground. Oh, I did turn off the flight controllers, good. The flight controllers only have 2-cell 350 milliamp hours batteries each, so they can only be on for, say, 45 minutes or so. So you cannot just let it stand for a long time with them running. They are optimized for a flight. A flight will be 10 minutes, so it's plenty to spare, but if you start to do mechanical work on it, or contemplating things, and the power is still on, you just might run out of power, and that would be disastrous, of course. Yeah, I like this. Well, that's not too shabby for a first day of test flying it.